Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. In this movie, we're going to look at the enhancements for the Boeing 787, which are, I would say, part of the sim update number 13, which is currently in beta, but maybe if you look at this video, it has been already released. So the good thing about this one is that it contains Simbrief integration, right? So let me jump to that one first because I think that's personally my favorite. So what you need to do is you need to provide your Simbrief, I would say, username. So to do that, you go to index and then you go to the settings menu. Settings menu, right? Zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. Can be found over there on the settings button, of course. And then if you go to the second page, which you can do using next page, you will find the user ID or username, right? The user ID refers to that number. The username refers to the username, which can then be entered via the path, right? So let me do that. Uh, Sitting it there, then it will show shortly verifying and then it shows active, right? So there's no authentication required. So you can directly use it. Then when going back to the index page, and of course going to the init ref, that could be another option which you choose. You can go to the route, right? You can set the initial position, of course, and then go to the route. And there you will find the route request option over here. So if you press this option, it will contact Simbrief, and then of course it will, I'd say, come back with the plan which you created using Simbrief. It's really important that you, of course, set the plan accordingly. Uh, then it shows, okay, hey, flight plan is ready to load or erase on the route page. So what you need to do in that case is go to this route page, which you can find over here using the route button. And then you can say either purge or load. In this case, we're going to say load. And then it shows loading. And then once finished, you can press execute, and that will load the flight plan inside a flight simulator. So if you will now go to the route again, or stay on the route page, and then press next, you will find the flight plan nicely being added to the flight computer, right? So that's really cool. So this is my personal favorite one, but there are of course a few other ones. So let me go to the next one. So for the next item, we need to zoom out first, right? So let me do that. And there you'll find something nice, right? On the left side. So let me hide the yoke. So here you will find the electronic flight bag, also referred to as the EFB. So currently the functionality is pretty limited, although you might think, hey, I can press these buttons. That's not, I would say, currently implemented. But I do expect that they will add some new functionality later on. It's already cool to see this, right? So first of all, there's the initialize flight button. It doesn't do much as far as I figured out, right? I pressed it and then I looked around, but I didn't see much. Uh, but according to the, I would say, release notes, they only focused on the performance part. So if you go to performance, that's the only functionality which has been implemented. And as you just saw, right, you can't click those buttons. You really need to select it, let's say, on the screen. That's where you can find several information settings, right? First of all, there's, I would say, a typo here, performance. But hey, that's, I would say, that will be likely be fixed, I would say, later on. So you've got the airport, you've got the runways which you can search, and then you can select several other options, right? So what you can do is, say, copy FMC data. Now I hope that it will copy it. And then press the airport search button. Doesn't do that much. Also, runway doesn't do that much. Okay, this now becomes really interesting. Because how can you add the airport? Likely they will implement later on. I would say a little bit surprised by this, right? So what I mentioned in the release note that you could set up the performance data, but looks like that I'm not sure how you can set up this. You can try to double click it. I was expecting that the copy FMC data would load it here, but looks like it doesn't do it. But likely what they will do is they will add that functionality using the add airport, which will then highly likely populate this one. And then using the other ones, you can populate the other fields, although you can double click these fields, right? So you can say wind, etc. Would be nice if they could, I would say, load it directly from Flight Sim itself, right? By using on a button import or even better by importing it from Simbrief, because you also set an option. So with that, right, you can change these options like the flaps, the engine auto or engine off or engine, the LM C or the LMCLB. You can't select it, but that could be due to the fact that we selected this one. No, that's also broken. And the thrust, you can be set to either wind shear, optimum, takeoff 1 to 10, takeoff 2 to 20, and then you can change like that. Conditions can be set to, I would say, a wide variety of conditions. So in this case, dry. Index, you can't define it yet. OAT and QNH, right? You can still define it by double clicking. So 29.91, right? So that's correct. It automatically converts to hectopascal also. And then you've got the wind, and the wind you can get it from the ATIS, right? So you can either take open the scroll lock or open the HC by pressing scroll lock, I should say. And using that option, you can connect to the ATC. Let's say scroll lock. I was not looking for scroll lock. I was looking for the ATC over here. So the ATC, then you can connect to the ATIS, and the ATIS will give you the information. Of course, you need to tune into the ATIS. Currently, I'm connected to the tower, so likely it won't provide me the information. So I would say it looks pretty promising, but there are still some work to do. But I do expect that that will be fixed in the next beta, right? Because you also can't double click this one. So at least I would say one bug found. You can go back to the menu over here. But the other buttons, I would say, are not working currently. So let's keep our fingers crossed that they will fix it, I would say, in a future version. So that was the HUD, right? So let's go to the next functionality. So for the third new functionality, we need to go back to this flight computer, and especially to the perf page, right? So we are at the good page because we just loaded the flight plan over here. So if you press perf in it, you will see all the, I would say, basic things, right, which you can do. You can populate most of them, not all of them. The reserve still not being populated. The cost index also not being populated. The zero fuel weight was already populated, I think, before this update. So there's no, I'd say, new functionality over there, but you can still populate it based on the flight plan, of course, so based on Simbrief information. Likely they will implement, I would say, the perf init page request button also in the near future, but currently it's grayed out. The next one is the thrust limiter. And thrust limiter, right, you can define the takeoff 10, 20%, right, using these buttons, and also the climb rates. So that's, I would say, kind of cool. If we go back to the takeoff speed, we can, I'd say, pull some information like the runway, or I think it was, they mentioned the weather. So, but it's on page 2, of course. You can, I'd say, kind of populate the wind, right, by pressing the button. That will pull the data directly from a data source. I'm not sure which one. I think all the other options, they didn't change too much about it, unfortunately. But maybe they will do it in the near future again. So also the takeoff, I'd say temperature, etc., runway position, and that's not being automatically populated. Also, that we could, because, of course, because we did not select a runway. So let's select runway 5 and then press execute just for fun, and then go back to the route, perf in it, and then go to the take off runway 05. It's not being selected. This one still doesn't work, but you can see that runway 5 is auto-populated here, so that's cool. So limited functionality in this area, but still some nice things in the CDU. If we go further to the other areas, they made some changes over here, right? This is the climb page, also for the VNAV, where they made some changes to the let's say, to the angles, if I'm correct. I'm not sure where they changed it because I was looking around, and to be honest, I couldn't really find it. Those forecast options were already there, right? That's added by the previous update, where you can simply add the transactional altitude, but also the alternate temperature, and then it will start to, let's say, kind of forecast it. And then based on that, you can request it. And so it says request sent, and then likely it will populate the data, right? So load on the RTE data page. So then you go to the RTE page, and then the RTE data page. Where's the data page? Go to next, next, next. Oh, is there much being added? I doubt, to be honest. But hey, maybe this will say is a wrong information, right? I'm not sure about that. There are still some, it's still in beta, right? So do expect that there are some things which might work a little bit different, hopefully in the eventual version. And going to the going to the next one, next page. Sorry, went too quick. Um, VNAV, right? So not so many changes over there, but some cool functionality where you can I would say, automatically populate certain fields, not all of them. Say then the last new entry, which we're going to look at, is the checklist, right? So the checklist can be found here, right? You can press checklist, and it will directly, I would say, jump to the latest step, right? So if you go to the options, then you can go over this, and you can use the buttons over here, checklist override and checklist reset. Checklist override, as you mentioned. You can override certain items, and checklist reset will reset certain items. You can, in this case, see that it's before the start, and then I would say you also have the normal override. Normal button doesn't really have a functionality. So what you can do is simply press the items, right? So you can say, okay, hey, passenger signs is automatically being checked. Then this has been configured, and so on and so on and so on. So nice. Resetting, you can do it, right? So you can reset it to the default settings. Not sure if they will allow you to make changes over here, but it looks like, because it was based on this. And then you can say, okay, hey, reset normal, reset before takeoff. So let's say reset all, and then let's see what happens. And then reset, then go to the normal page. On the normal page, you will find all the checklists, right? So it also shows you, okay, hey, if you already performed certain items, then it will show it. You can still reset it, of course, if you want. And then you've got the before start, and that was the one which we just, I would say, left, right. So then you can do all those nice things over here. So some cool information, some new things have been added to this aircraft. And besides that, there are, of course, a lot of, let's say, bug fixes based on, I would say, the reports which they likely received from all of us. So that's very good. Other items, not really, right. This was all good. I think this is where they mentioned the route data, right? So that's what we just were shown by, because that's the thing. So let me show you again how I did it, right? Because now I want to show it. So if you go to the climb forecast, you can say purge in this case, and then you can say request. So requesting it will send the request data, and then eventually it will show it that it has loaded on the RTE data page. So the RTE data page, you need to go to lags, and there you will find the RTE data, right? Which shows you, okay, hey, this is the ETA, this is the waypoints, the view, and then of course you can also see the wind likely. Oh, let's go back one page. This is not what I wanted. Progress, lags. So you can see the data, and then you can press load, or you can say lags. So you can here say load. What the done will do is it will say, okay, hey, climb forecast data ready to load or purge on the climb forecast page. So now you can see the direction of the wind over here, right? So you can request it. It says requesting, send request, and then we'll populate it. Yes. Then load it on the RT data page. That's cool. And then say the climb forecast data ready to load or purge. So go back to the climb page, which you can find on the VNAV, and then climb forecast, and then you can say load over here, which will load all the data over here, and then you're good. So the decent forecast has also been loaded, right? So let me check that one. So go to the next section, right, which is cruise destination. You press the forecast button, and also then you can say load or purge, right? So if you want to accept the values, you press load. If you don't want to accept them, you can press purge. So I would say loading the forecast. Previously, you needed to do it manually. Now they added some nice functionality where you can automatically load it. So I'd say pretty impressive by this one. Initially, I thought, okay, hey, that's weird because I wasn't aware which they refer to as the say nav data page, right? But that's likely the I would say the lags page where you can provide the route data. But that's my fault, so excuse me. Don't be I would say too aggressive against me in the comments. Of course, I'm also a human and I'm not a real pilot, only a flight sim pilot. So cool things have been added here also. And I would say with this, we're gonna end this video because we looked at, let's say, a lot of interesting things, a lot of fixes which they have added. I can't show them, but this is only focusing on the new items which will come your way. Here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.